I'm almost 30 years old, and when I think about what the present would be like without the work that this organization has done, since the year before I was born, I think that there would have been more nuclear disasters.
I had a young child, and we had moved very close to Livermore Lab. In fact, I moved there specifically because there was an arroyo or creek where my son could play. I filed a Freedom of Information Act request, and I remember suddenly coming across a document and finding out that the soil at Livermore Lab was so heavily contaminated. And just on the other side of the fence, my son was playing.
When my son married, in his mid-20s, he married a young woman who lived in Livermore her whole life. And a year after they were married, it was discovered that she had malignant melanoma. And she lived for about 3 months. There was a 600% higher incidence of melanoma-related diseases in this community than any other place in Alameda County.
It was not known, let alone understood, that the design, development, and testing of nuclear weapons inherently had an impact on the environment. Tri-Valley Cares was founded in 1983 by local Livermore residents who were concerned about the nuclear weapons activities at Livermore Lab. One of our early actions was to prevent the construction of a huge radioactive and toxic waste incinerator. Every Saturday we're at their supermarkets with a petition. We were working with retired scientists from Livermore Lab and other technical experts, and we're able to prove that this incinerator would kill people. And because of our work, the director of Livermore Lab announced they would not build the incinerator.
The next really big victory we had is really a series of large programs to stop nuclear weapons to be developed at Livermore Lab. The first is called the Robust Nuclear Earth Penetrator. It was also known as the Bunker Buster Bomb. We campaigned very hard against that program. The next is a program that was known as the Reliable Replacement Warhead, which was going to be a multi-billion-dollar program that we also were able to stop.
Tri-Valley Cares became the first organization in Region 9, which is the Western United States, to win an Environmental Protection Agency technical assistance grant.
As a member of the Superfund Cleanup Committee, I have watched excellent work happening over the last 20 years to clean up the plume of water that was underneath my house. That work I'm very proud of.
There's a lot of work, scientific and applied, to be done to clean up the Earth from the toxins that have been introduced to it by the whole uranium and plutonium and thermonuclear weapons project.
Tri-Valley Cares has been at the forefront of some of the most significant public policy victories on nuclear weapons over the last 25 years. Tri-Valley Cares marries local knowledge with awareness of the international and the national public policy aspects. They have the credibility of being a neighbor of the Livermore Lab, living in the shadow of our nation's nuclear weapons enterprise, as well as being sophisticated about the way they engage with elected officials.
Tri-Valley Cares is impeccable in its alertness to the technical and the legal aspects.
These folks care about young people and care about orienting us on our journey and connecting us to the right people and giving us training. And Mary Leah has been a mentor for me for 9 years. It's such a tremendous asset that I think more college students should start taking advantage of.
Our most important current campaign has to do with plutonium. It was proven that the lab just could not keep plutonium safe in a 1 square mile facility with houses right up to the gates. So following that, there was a decision made by the Department of Energy to remove all of the bomb-usable plutonium. That's a decision that we want to keep in place. However, the lab is now trying to bring plutonium there again to do environmental testing with, so literally shaking and baking and dropping the pits.
The absurdity of the current program to bring plutonium cores from Los Alamos to simulate the conditions of their use If you put this in a movie, nobody'd believe it.
What is at stake is all life on Earth. So it's certainly worth not just a day out of our lives, but most of these people are working a lot of the time to stop business as usual when business as usual is making bombs.
Another beautiful thing about Tri-Valley Cares is we are just normal people who have taken up this very difficult issue. And we get together once a month and discuss it at a meeting that's at the Livermore Library. Anybody's welcome. We have a lot of fun.
Tri-Valley Cares has some of the most wonderful people I have ever met, as members, as staff, as board, and as advisors. Folks from the lab are superb. It's been an honor and a real privilege to be the executive director of Tri-Valley Cares for these 3 decades.